I'm Erin Beckloff, and I'm a co-founder of the Printing Stewards. I also helped co-found Letterpress Educators of Art and Design, and I was co-director of pressing on the Letterpress Film. I actually received a small printing press as a wedding gift from my mother-in-law and stepfather-in-law. Getting that wedding gift press was what started it all. It was just a little tiny thing and called a Kelsey to make little note cards or stationery or business cards. And one thing led to another, and that seems to be how it goes in printing. How I kind of found the role that I'm in today was when I wanted to learn about letterpress printing, it wasn't something I could just look up. I mean, there is information online now and things are becoming more accessible, but overall, I just wanted to meet people that knew about it. And so as I started to meet the community, I found that the community was what I love the most. One of the difficulties is just kind of figuring out what my role was going to be, I think. I tried to run a business. I tried to be an artist. I am a graphic designer, but I realized that I'm not very good at selling my work. I found that I'm much stronger as a connector within the community. I create opportunities for other people to create work and sell their work. I am an educator, so teaching was really where I found my special love is in teaching, and then seeing them go on to be successful artists and designers in the field, or even to become people that are making new type and casting now. My prints that I create are very community driven. I've seen, I have done commercial work, I have done bat mitzvah invitations and wedding invitations for friends and things like that. But what I really love is to create a poster or a print that commemorates an event when the community is coming together. So we have gatherings where people from all over the country, all over the world will come together, and often I'll create a poster and give it to everybody to kind of celebrate that togetherness of the community. And so I like to use wood type. My dad makes the wood type, makes ornaments and decorative pieces. I like to combine unusual typefaces in the wood type, and I often have a lot of layers. I like to use a lot of color. I rarely print in black. There are some people that always print in black, but I like to work with the larger, more expressive wood type forms when I create prints. That's how I've approached letterpress printing, and I think that's something else that's shifted because letterpress printing used to be a commercial process. It was a trade. So there was a right way to do things in that people went through an apprenticeship and were trained to do things a particular way. And those skills and those rules are things that we still follow today, but there's definitely been this evolution, this transition where people have started to use letterpress printing for art, for design, for craft. And so there's become more experimentation. There's become more room for people to explore. And so in that way, I think people are approaching it in various ways, but we're still very rooted in the foundation and the history of letterpress printing. I think it's important to take an introductory course or workshop or just be in somebody's shop who has been printing. I learned the most from the older generation of printers, and that's the knowledge that I tried to preserve through a lot of my work. I've also learned a lot from my own students who come at it from a different way that I never would have expected, but we try to kind of problem solve and print this unexpected material or take on this new challenge. So I think it's important to learn the foundations of printing so that you understand how to use things safely, how to get a good quality print, because there can be frustration if you aren't just trained in how to use the equipment. But then, once you've learned that, then think about what you can experiment with and how you can add to the visual vernacular of letterpress today. I became very connected to the older generations in the letterpress community, and they had acquired a lot of equipment and materials, and they'd saved it at a time when things were being scrapped and things were going to be lost. And so they had these huge collections, they had a lot of stories about how they acquired these collections, and they also had a lot of knowledge about printing. And so I wanted to document that while I still could. I had friends that were in their 80s, and I was afraid that their knowledge was going to be lost. And so those were kind of the initial subjects of the film. But then I also started to find that the community is very close. People want to help each other. We don't keep secrets. I know in some other communities, people are very kind of protective over their knowledge because they're more proprietary about it, but the printing community is very open and sharing and want others to learn. And that's how this is going to survive. And so I started to look at what are the relationships between the older generation that hold this knowledge, the newer generation that are bringing these new ideas. And so we featured both in the film. I wanted to capture the stories, the knowledge, the body of these interviews was really important to me. I am extremely proud of the fact that we have a feature-length film that a lot of people enjoy. Like, it's not just a niche thing that only printers are going to appreciate. It's something that I found a lot of people have enjoyed, and that's very fulfilling. And then my partners really became a part of the community. They became friends with the subjects in our film as well. And so I don't think it could have been more successful, and I'm really happy that it's still being watched today and being used in schools and on all these streaming platforms. Like, it's kind of unreal. The new voices need to have more recognition in letterpress printing. We need to find the smaller shops, the people that are not as mainstream, that aren't the extremely well-known printers, the more outspoken ones. Like, I want to see the people that are just getting started be able to share their knowledge more and share their ideas more. And I'm happy that that's something that conferences and mentorship and all of that is supporting. So I think that's something that I would like to see even more of those people being included and involved.
Because it is going to be the young people that will carry this forward.
Exactly.
In the future.
Yeah, I think I was one of the young people, but now I'm kind of in the middle, and I'm okay with that. And so it's like, how do we keep the young people interested, and how do we make space for them to let this evolve? You know, like, sometimes when older people, even in the printing community, can be very stubborn about the tradition and how it was always done, and that can be something that some of the older people seem to be a bit stubborn, and it can be, it's not encouraging to be told you're doing it wrong. It can be encouraging to say, this is how it was always done, and this is a way to get a successful print, but I'm super intrigued by what you're doing, and how can we meet in the middle and learn from each other? I think that's super important. I'm now building a workshop of my own on my property, and I'm going to be able to teach workshops. And my dad, who makes wood type, is going to be a part of the workshop as well. And so we're going to be teaching printing workshop and how to make wood type, and we're going to be bringing in other people to teach classes and just continue to spread the knowledge. And so I think my foundation is very much in connecting the community. And so I now have a physical space at my home where I can make that happen. So I can continue to make connections with people, to find mentors and to find equipment, but I also can have it in my home. And one of my main projects right now is being a co-founder of the Printing Stewards, which is a nonprofit. Our primary mission is caring for the Gregory Jackson Walters collection. And Greg was a friend. He was in Pressing On. Unfortunately, we lost him several years ago and miss him terribly, but he cared about casting and books, and he was very generous. And so we're continuing his legacy, where we're going to learn to use these machines. We're going to preserve the ATF collection to the best of our ability. I'm going to be caring for his library and make it an accessible archive for people to come and look at the physical books, scan elements, maybe use them digitally, maybe make them into wood type, and and just continue the love that he had for printing and expand it as far as we can.
Is there anything else you'd kind of like to expand upon that you think we missed?
No, I think we're good.
No? Great, awesome. Okay, well, I guess we can cut. Cool.